My stepbrother set me up, my family believed him and threw me out. Now, 30 years later, they finally know the truth. But is it too late? Family who kicked me out at 16, now 30 years later want to make up for lost time. Okay, as a mild lurker on Reddit, thought I would share my story and newest development in my life after 30 years might be a bit long, but will do my very best to give you context without too much fluff. Hope this is the right sub. So I lost my mom when I was 12 to breast cancer, so that just left me and my dad. It was a tough time, but we got through it together. When I was 14, Dad met and married my stepmom Ashley, who brought with her my stepbrother Mark, 14, and stepsister Emily, 12. I got along with Ashley and Emily really well, but Mark, not so much so. He and I were always getting into arguments and fights. I was always told by my dad to give Mark a break because he's been the man of his house for a while. So this is all new. Like somehow it wasn't new to me. Anyways, when I was 15, I met a girl at school, Lisa, and we started dating. As much as one can date at 15. However, Mark apparently had a crush on her and was mad that I asked her out. He started a fight over it, in which my dad had to intervene once again, and somehow I again was made to be the bad guy. One day after my 16th birthday, my stepmom was putting away my laundry and started yelling, which was awkward because my girlfriend Lisa was there. We all ran thinking the worst. When we got to my room, my stepmom was holding several pairs of my sister's underwear, yelling at me why they are in my drawer. I had no answer as I'd never seen them before. Of course, no one believed me, no matter how much protesting I did. Then Mark piped up saying he always caught me staring at his sister, thought it was creepy, and caught me once saying I wish I could marry her. Obviously lying, but that was all it took. Lisa slapped me and called me a perv and told me we were done and walked out. My dad grabbed me by the arm and threw me out of the house, yelling at me that he wasn't gonna put his daughter at risk from a perv. Not the word he used, but you get it. I banged on the door to be let in, crying and telling them it was all lies told by Mark. My dad apparently had enough. I heard the locks. He opened the door and shoved me to the ground and told me to get lost. I told him I had nowhere to go and he said that wasn't his problem. Then closed the door. I found myself on the streets with nothing to my name, no place to go. I tried calling my dad's parents, but he had already called them and they told me they won't help a perv. My mom's parents passed away before I was born, while I lived on the streets for 2 years doing what I had to in order to survive. No kid should have had to do what I had to do in order to just live. Just saying. There were some really dark days. Lots of therapy later in life helped me with this. Shortly after I turned 18, I found a job working at a boxing gym, states away from where I began this horrible journey. I worked there for years, learned the sport, never gonna beat Mike Tyson, but was good at the sport, which helped me with my hate and anger. Then one day met a new girl, a May, 20F, at the cafe down the street from the gym. At this point I was 35, I know, huge age gap. But we just click. I don't believe in fate or soulmates or any of that stuff like that, but if there is such a thing, we had it. I don't know how else to put it. We dated for 2 years and then got married. Her dad was an electrician and hired me on afterwards. I think mostly to know I would be able to support his daughter and know I was doing right by her, but also in case he needed to keep me in check. He never said this, but as a dad, I get it now. Well, 15 years later we are still together with 4 beautiful daughters. I just passed my master's license as an electrician. Thanks to my wife for pushing me to get my GED. She has been my rock, my cheerleader, my overall support through this all. And I can't tell her enough how much she changed my life and how much I love her. Anyways, sorry for the tangent. So just this last weekend, I received an email from my stepsister. Not sure how she got my email address, but I know it isn't hard via the internet, not like I've been hiding. Mind you, I'm now pushing 53, so it's been 30+ years since I've heard from any of them. It was a long email. Not gonna give you all of it, but the meat of it is, they now know what really happened. Mark, I guess, was busy drinking with his buddies on Friday, and somehow my name was mentioned. Mark, I guess, started bragging how he set me up and took my girl. Yup, Mark and Lisa got together, married. All those years ago, they were all hoping I died on the streets. Bunch of rude and vile stuff. Guess he forgot Lisa was there and she heard it all. So she called my stepsister to let her know, and so Emily spent all weekend trying to find me. Like I said, the email was long. Short of it is, they want to apologize face to face, although it was already said in the email multiple times, and want to make up for lost time. I'm however indifferent to the idea, like I have no ill feelings towards her. She obviously was young and had no real say in the matter. But with lots and lots of therapy, I learned to let go of that hate and anger, and to let go of them. As well, with all the love I receive from my wife, kids, and in-laws, it's all I really need. I'm of the idea of just deleting the email and moving on like nothing happened. My wife thinks I should at least respond back, even if to say something snarky like, "Thanks for finally believing me," Only took over 30 years. Did I mention my wife has a mean/petty streak to her? LOL, she's awesome. Guess not asking for advice, just wanted to share my story. There is a boxing quote that I have up in my house that reminds me every day. To see a man beaten not by a better man, but by himself is a tragedy. Edited, pushing 50 to 53, because apparently people are getting hung up on my age. Because you know if it's not perfect, guess that's Reddit for ya. Update. First I want to thank everyone for their kind words and advice. I wasn't looking for advice, just wanted a place to share my story. To those that gave me credit for overcoming everything, thank you. However, the wife thinks she deserves most of it. LOL. And in all honesty, she does. To those that think this is fake, it's Reddit. I get it. It is what it is. Most things have to be taken with a grain of salt. I shared my story. I can't make you believe me, but that's okay. If my story resonates and helps others know they can survive, then I'm happy with that. And that's all that matters. Okay, for the update. Gonna post most of the original email as a lot of you have requested. Kept out some deep personal info, but majority of it is there. I might have to break it up due to character limit, plus a response with the help of my wife, and also the help of others who made suggestions, which is good because I'm not that great at putting down in words how I feel without coming off looking dumb. She was able to make me sound less dumb. LLL, taking the family to the lake for the weekend to recharge and leave this all behind me. Thanks again to everyone. Update 2. Hey everyone, it's been a hot minute since I've stopped in and updated you all. First, want to thank everyone who's still been reaching out and commenting on my post, so just have a final update for you all. I know a lot of you worried about my former family reaching out after I asked them to basically let me live my life in peace, but thankfully all has been quiet. I think my response made it clear they weren't family anymore, and decided to accept it. Outside of that, everything has been good. Actually more than good. Found out we are having a baby boy, although this wasn't planned. We are super excited, as are the girls. Not gonna lie, I'm a bit nervous. I think my wife can tell. She just keeps telling me I'm a great dad and not to worry. And yeah, after this one, we are done and I'll be going in for the snip. In the words of Surgeon Murtaugh, I'm too old for this shtet. Just wanted to leave you guys with a little dad advice. Work hard, but stay humble. Never forget how hard you worked to get where you are today. Never forget who you are is so much greater than what you do. Best friend says I owe her everything I have, even my boyfriend. I know I should be careful calling someone best friend in a post like this, but I don't know how else to call Jessie. Our parents are great friends, so we grew up together and she kind of had my back in high school. Long story short, on the teenager food chain, she was on top and I should be on the bottom. But nobody messed with me cause I was Jessie's friend. Jessie is one of those people who require attention. I never minded though. Nobody is perfect, but now that I have my first real boyfriend, she doesn't know how to behave. Every time we are together, she is really handsy, always touching his arms, running fingers through his hair, complimenting him. And now she even started with the prank spankings on the butt, you know. I just feel really uncomfortable with it. Maybe it's normal. I mean, Jessie has a lot of guys' friends, so maybe this is okay. My beef never thought much of it either. Am I just overreacting? She is super pretty, so maybe I'm just jealous. Anyway, yesterday something really threw me off. BF had to do some work and I had a book thing hobby, so we decided to meet later at a friend's house. They were getting together to drink and so on. Beef finishes work early and calls me, but I don't really need him to come over to the book thing. I know he doesn't like it, so I just tell him to go to friend's house. Then I start getting texts from Jessie all like, girl, you gotta come to this party now. Your beef is wasted. LOL. We so drunk, you need to come and stop us. I can't behave myself if you don't get here soon. And so on. The book thing took longer than I thought, and I was just getting mad and madder. But I am a very non-confrontational person, so I deal with it. I call Beef when it's over because I don't feel like going to this party anymore, but I was his ride, so I ask him if he needs me to come pick him up. He says, sure, I get there and don't even go inside. I am ready to release the hounds of hell on him, but he gets in my car, and he is stone cold sober. I ask him if he was drinking, and then show him Jessie's texts. He gets super upset and says she was lying. He wasn't even hanging directly with her, but was catching up with a friend who just came back to town. He says I should have texted him, letting him know what she was saying, so he could confront her about it, since I don't ever seem to be able to give that girl some boundaries. Now, I'm thinking maybe I should talk to Jessie, but maybe she was just drunk and annoying me because she wanted me there. I don't know. I mean, this girl was really nice to me growing up when she could have been a bitch. I don't like how she behaves around him, but at the same time, I don't want it to look like I don't trust her. Is there a polite way of going about it, or should I maybe wait and see if this happens again? Am I overreacting? Edit. Thanks to everyone for your comments and help. I decided to talk to Jessie and posted a development to the story. Update: I am very thankful to all those who commented, especially the ones who encouraged me to say something. I don't like arguments, so those were very important to me. Thank you. Last night we were alone because she wanted me to help her choose clothes for an event. I was at her place, so I thought I should say something. I wanted to say something. I was very polite and just said that I knew she meant no harm, but I didn't feel good about it, so I asked her if she could tone it down. I should have said stop, but I guess I'm weak. She didn't really say anything mean, but her attitude was a bit off, I think. She was looking at me in a scornful kind of way, and the way she smiled once I was done talking, it just felt weird. She didn't say anything else but okay, and we just moved on to choosing her clothes, and I left after. We were supposed to go get something to eat, but she said she was tired. I am not dumb, she was hurt. So, I texted a common friend, more her friend than mine, and, without getting into details, I just told him that I talked to Jess about something that was important to me, but that I was afraid she may have gotten the wrong idea from it. The common friend said, "Look, I don't want to get involved, but you should watch it." I asked what he meant, and he said, "Nothing, just watch it." A little while after that, he texts me back and says, "Changed my mind. I do want to get involved," and sends me a bunch of screenshots of texts going back and forth between him and Jessie. It basically starts with him asking her if the two of us had a fight, because I was worried. He was kind with his words, I don't mind him stepping in. Then, just a non-stop stream of her being horrible. She says I had a big mouth and was judging her behavior, because I'm a prude who doesn't know how to be around guys. How she taught me everything I know about having a life, and how dare I tell her what she can or cannot do. Or how I should thank her for even having a boyfriend at all. Common friend actually called her out for being rude and no friend of mine. After the screenshots, he told me, "I'm done with her. I give up, and you should watch it." He also said it was okay if I told her I had the prince. I didn't, though. Didn't know what to say. I mean, she is not 100% wrong, but even though I know that, it really hurts to read those. This morning I wake up and see she texted me late at night. She says she knows Pete sent me the screenshots, and she didn't mean to be rude, but it's ridiculous that I am jealous of her, because if she wanted my beef, she could just have him. You want me to prove it, so I'm being silly and should drop it, is what she meant. She ends it with kisses and a joke, so I don't know if she was being playful, apologizing, threatening, or being pragmatic. I didn't answer her yet. I don't know what to say. Should I even say something? Or should I just let it go? I wish I could talk to someone about this, but I am very private. I usually go to Jessie with these things. Help. Update 2. My boyfriend is having sex with her. A friend convinced some other friends to send me screenshots of texts between themselves and either my beef or best friend. They are pretty clear. I confronted my beef, he looked lost, said he loves me, and it was just sex. He says Jessie kept throwing herself at him, teasing him, and he said he didn't like her, but I still wanted to hang. He said he just had sex with her to see if she would move on and leave him alone, and that it only happened a couple of times. He says he won't do it anymore, he doesn't even like her, he loves me, asking me to please forgive him. From the texts, once I finally made it through them all, I think that Jessie went to the party, where me and Beef met, because she wanted to hook up with him. She had it bad for him, but he didn't feel the same way. She was trying to get him to break up with me, and then to get me to break up with him. It worked. As of yesterday, he is a single man. In some of those texts, they are talking about some of the hookups. I feel like throwing up. I blocked him because he was still trying to get in touch. I ghosted her, but she just sent me a message saying, "I just heard what happened and you know this was probably for the best, right?" And I feel like fucking screaming. I don't know if this is an update or just me venting. Thanks for listening either way. Edit. I don't want to sound melodramatic or sappy or anything, but you all brought me to tears. We keep hearing about how it is insanity to rely on the internet for personal connections, but I just lost a boyfriend, a best friend, and a whole group of friends, and instead of feeling alone, I am more and more feeling like, fuck yeah, that was the right thing to do, I will be okay. It still hurts, but not as much as it would had I really been alone. I can't even begin to thank this sub, I really don't know what to say. Even on my previous posts that didn't get as many responses, it was some of the comments there that made me approach the cheating thing knowing I had to break up and move on. So it changed my life in this moment, and considering I will be doing a lot of soul searching on toxic relationships, this probably changed my life for good. So, thank you all so much for reaching out to a stranger. This community is so precious, and I got a gold. I don't even know what to say. Thank you so much. I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but I don't even know how much a gold costs. And this is an alt account, so it won't really be used. Is there any way I can return it to the sender? Some of you are asking for an update. I might in a while, if there is something new to tell. Right now, it's just more of the same. I don't think I will be able to answer all the comments, but I am trying to at least answer the ones with questions. Thank you. Final update. I said I'd come back if anything relevant happened. Ex-Bef kept trying to get in touch through common friends. They kept asking me to unblock him and at least hear him out, because he was really sorry. He loved me. He was a mess. He didn't mean to. Someone even went as far as to ask me if I was really sure it happened. They offered to send me screenshots of texts where he was talking about me, so I'd see how he always had great things to say and how much he cared. But I've had it with the screenshot drama for life, and said no. To the ones who insisted, I told them I wasn't unblocking him, had nothing to say or hear, and if they kept pushing me, I'd block them too. I ran into Ex-Bef at this book thing I go to often, a hobby of mine. Maybe I'm being presumptuous, but I think he went there for me. He didn't really have any business there, but I'm just speculating really. He asked if I had a few minutes for coffee. I said I was late. Lie. He walked me to my car. He looked so good, smelled great, he was so sweet, was even wearing his hair the way I like it. I felt horrible, because even after everything I still like him. He apologized some more, said he knew I needed time and space, but asked if I'd consider giving him another chance, because he would wait for me. He said he would never talk to Jesse again and would act like they had restraining orders against each other, and I just found it really funny how everything he was saying required me trusting him, which I don't. So I told him I wasn't interested anymore, and he should move on. I wish I said something snappier or wittier, but I had nothing. This was Saturday. I haven't heard from him or friends since. I think that was that. Jesse also kept trying to talk to me. Like I told some of you in comments, I had a trip coming up. It would have been me, Jesse, Ex-Bef, and a few friends. Since Jessie couldn't afford it, my parents paid for most of her expenses. She must have remembered this right after everything went down and panicked because I had everything: vouchers, confirmation emails, credit card info. She went crazy, even showed up at my place. I wasn't home, and my roommate told her to fuck off, exact words. I didn't block her at first because I admit I was having some fun watching her despair. I talked to my mom, and she was amazing. Told me I should cancel everything even if it cost us money, it was fine. So I did. And for one last bit of screenshot drama, I printed all the emails I got confirming cancellations and sent those to Jessie with the word bye before blocking her. My roommate has been amazing. We were never really close, and now I don't even know why. She canceled plans with her friends to stay with me and invited me to go out with them next weekend. A few of you suggested I see a therapist, and I did yesterday. I really liked it. It was just one appointment, and I mostly just talked, but it felt good. She gave me homework. She talked a little about unhealthy and abusive relationships and asked me to think about my friendship with Jessie and try to point out what was healthy and what was unhealthy about it. It made me realize she was never really my friend. She was taking advantage of me for years, and she even had me thanking her for it. The therapist also told me about this saying, I think that's what it is, called the narcissist's prayer, which goes something like, that didn't happen. If it did, it wasn't my fault. If it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, then you deserved it, which is totally how Jessie is handling this whole thing now. So, good riddance indeed. And a final piece of gossip, Pete talked to me yesterday. He's checking up sometimes. He's a good guy again. He is gay, in case someone is still thinking this might turn into a romantic comedy. He said Jessie was super sure that since I broke things off, she and Dean would hook up right away, but apparently he doesn't have the same plans, and that freaked her out over the weekend. Pete says she really is a mess and went out drinking hard 4 nights in a row to the point where she had to be carried home by her pals. And yesterday they all went out for lunch at this burger place. Jessie was going to run her fingers through his hair or something, and he just pushed her away and told her to stop and to never touch him again. Great that now he manages to do that, huh? I guess in the end, he really did like me in his sick way. The thing is, I don't want to be with someone who likes me in a sick way. I want to be with someone who likes me in a healthy way. I think I deserve that. I am also thinking about taking the money I got back from the trip to go somewhere else by myself. Haven't decided though. Anyway, this will be the final update on this since it is unlikely that I will have anything new to add now. I think I just need time to heal and let go. You know, I might come back in a few months if there is a reason to do a Yay Life is Awesome Now post. But I wanted to post this update now because I wanted to end this whole story on a bright note. And of course, thank you all again, you are the best.